my teammate from this year, us talking after an FP1, and I feel like he was a really good teammate because he was super quick and we were able to push each other all year, and that always helps in terms of getting the best results possible. And ultimately finishing as high as you can in the championship for yourself and the team.
Did Liam have to say to you after that? After you got the C, did he say anything to you, or?
Obviously, just congratulations, and he wants to see me do well because, we were close all year, so that makes him look better as well. This was my helmet in Austin, right there. Probably my favorite helmet of the year. First time I've ever done like a special helmet. What did you guys think? I thought it was pretty cool.
It's pretty special, wasn't it? Especially to mark that moment as well. How many have you had this year? How many helmets did you have in total?
Only 4. So yeah, I'm sure that number will go up next year. But yeah, not too many.
Have any thoughts on the design for next year, or?
Actually, I was just talking about it yesterday, so it's work in progress, but it's coming. This was my mom in Abu Dhabi. Obviously, the pressure was high, especially for her, as well as me. But yeah, it was nice to have her there as support and a familiar face to someone to lean on if I needed it.
She's saying like before the weekend and then also afterwards, like I guess your tensions will have been high before that, so she's saying it's trying to calm you down and keep you composed?
Not too much. I think she just sort of let me stay on top of it with Ben, to be honest. I think she was more nervous than I was, to be honest, so yeah, she was just there to support and hopefully watch me have a great round.
How was it afterwards when she finally saw you after you sort of secured the seat?
It was nice. I think she was probably even more relieved than me as well. I just think it's so nice to have people that you love at the track when things go well and in the way that you want them to. I think this one could be Austria.
So that was an interesting story.
This was probably the craziest race of my 2022. It was a mixed track condition. We started the race. No one knew which tire to go, so the top 8 went on wets just to, take the safe option. Everyone else went on slicks, and wets were not the right decision at all. I think within the first 5 laps of the race, I was nearly last. I don't know, 16th to 18th, somewhere in there, and pitted for slicks and just had probably the best into my F2 career, to be honest. Stormed back through, finished P3, which ultimately got turned into P1 through some penalties, but that was insane.
Talk about that remarkable fight back. You were right at the back and you came all the way through in those conditions. How did that affect your confidence after that weekend? What were you feeling? Do you think moving forward it's more of the same?
I feel like at a certain, when something goes wrong, and you can almost have a bit of anger that can either go against you or for you. And I feel like it just really went for me that day because I just almost felt unstoppable once I got out on the slicks. And yeah, I don't know, it was all clicking, and that sort of, I feel like that bit of anger just made it, that much of a better drive, to be honest.
I think one thing that I can see there just in the middle is the FP1 and the FW45 in Abu Dhabi. Obviously, you had half an hour between your FP1 session with the team and your crucial qualifying in F2. How was that time for you, and how did you manage for being able to juggle a pretty critical F1 session and then heading straight into an F2 session straight afterwards?
It was definitely difficult. It was the first time I felt relatively comfortable in the FW44, so that was nice. But to then, I feel like when you give a driver more grip, it's just easier. You give him more grip, more downforce, better brakes. It's an easier transition, and then jumping back in the F2 and taking that all away is difficult. And we still had good qualifying. It wasn't bad. It wasn't our best, but I think we definitely could have been looking at a better result without the FP1. But hey, we did our best, and I think it still went pretty well. This one on the podium in Silverstone first win against two very good drivers. Good podium.
What were your emotions when you were sort of stood up there? You know, like I said earlier, first F1, first American driver to win an F2 feature race. It's been a pretty unreal feeling for you.
Yeah, I feel like it's just one of those things, like it takes a bit of time to set in, doesn't it? I feel like, you know, you're just so caught up in the moment of, you know, making sure you deliver the result that you can't really think about what that result means, if you know what I mean. But yeah, obviously, I don't know, I feel like Silverstone's just the perfect track for me. It always goes smoothly, it always goes right, and I love driving there as well.
Would you say that was your highlight of the year, or would you suggest is the top moment?
I mean, Silverstone as a whole weekend was probably as good as it gets in terms of, I mean, we were quickest clearly the entire weekend, pretty much every lap, but then I look at Austria and that drive back through the field it's hard to beat, so one of those two, it's gotta be.
I'm incredibly proud and excited to be joining Williams Racing in just a few weeks. Williams has such a strong and rich heritage. I feel privileged to be a part of this team and hugely motivated. Across my career so far, I've had my share of failure. However, I've also been fortunate to share in great success. I haven't lost the hunger, ambition, or desire to win, but rather gained the ambition to build this journey with Williams. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank Mercedes, who have been hugely supportive. I leave after 20 years on excellent terms, and I'm grateful for everything Toto and the team have provided. With the season around the corner, I can't wait to get started, and I look forward to the emotion that I feel when the FW45 fires up and drives out of the garage in Bahrain for the first time.
Well, Logan, the 2022 season is over, I guess. A season of highs and lows, but ended in a pretty decent success for you. Just take us through overall how you feel about the season as a whole.
I just feel like looking back through these pictures, there's so many like moments, you know, that you almost forget about. I mean, even just looking at this picture here, I remember that was after my podium in Baku, which was my first feature race podium. And I remember getting this picture, I was like, ooh, that's cold, that looks awesome. That was obviously an amazing moment. Even here, just me and Jost, after my pole in Paul Ricard, I just felt like, you know, I was in like such a hot patch of the season and everything was going so well. I just felt like this is possible, like to, you know, ultimately hopefully make F1, and just that feeling to kind of keep going, if you know what I mean.
That first image you mentioned there in Baku, like that first feature race, what was the feeling when you got out of the car? As you see standing there with such emphasis, what was it like when you jumped out of the car?
Obviously just super pumped. It felt good. I mean, this is as well Baku right here with me and Ben. Just to share it with him as well as all you guys at Williams was a special moment. And I feel like it was just sort of, hard work starting to come together. And it was sort of the start of that hot patch that we went on to.
You mentioned Ben there as well. He's been with you for a long time. Just how has that relationship been this season?
Well, look at him here. He's up. I mean, he's like a big brother to me. To be honest, he's been everything. He's been there for me, for the last 4 or 5 years. So to have him alongside me this year and then moving into F1 is super special. And I think he wants it just as much as me. But I mean, as well, like not just looking at the great moments. This was obviously a really tough day for me. Starting P3 in Zandvoort and just going as wrong as it possibly could have when it was at a pretty critical point of the season. So that was a difficult day, but one that was, I guess helped me grow and sort of move on from it and try to rebound going to the next round.
You kind of mentioned there as well, obviously, it's not been like sailing, you've had some tough moments. How has that helped shape you and develop you throughout the season? Because it's not been so easy as just turning up, winning every race. It's been a challenge. So how has that shaped you and how have you coped with that over the season?
Definitely. I mean, I think just trying to stay positive, and the fact that we had great pace all year helped keep me going. I mean, this is me with the team after winning in Silverstone. And I think another point is they always have my back, even when things didn't go well. And, we always believed in each other to turn it around when we needed to and stay on a high when we were on a high. And that's always, super important as a driver to know that, the team has your back and believes in you.
Imagine a few of these photos from Silverstone, the first American to win in F2 in a feature race. How was that feeling when you jumped out the car doing it?
I think everyone's seen this one, probably one of my favorites. The interesting part about this picture is that I had done it in 2020 after winning the F3 race there, and I just want to recreate it. And I feel like it was captured pretty much perfectly, exactly how I would have wanted.
How long did you have that in your mind for before you did it?
Honestly, I would just worry about winning the race first, and then, once I pulled in the pit lane, I was like, all right, that's what I'm doing for sure. First time in the FW45 at Austin, that was pretty special as well. I actually wasn't feeling great that day because I had just hurt my back, so that wasn't the easiest of days, but nonetheless, it was so awesome to get behind an F1 car in America.
You mentioned that it was in America, your first time in the F1 car in front of your home fans as well. What did it mean to you to get out there in front of those American fans and be out there at Kota?
It was really cool just to sort of feel that energy and the atmosphere that that they were able to produce. Obviously, it was still only FP1, so it wasn't completely packed, but nonetheless, it was still awesome. Great to learn that track as well, and I'm looking forward to getting back. I think this is quite powerful as well because that was me sort of shouting out the Williams Driver Academy, for giving me even the opportunity to race in 2022 in F2. And I feel like the love is very big there.
The few of you in the driver academy, obviously Jamie, Ollie, Zach. How is that relationship with them? And what message did it send from the driver academy perspective, having seen your transition from F3 to F2 and now into F1 as well?
I think obviously that probably gives them all confidence that the route is there to hopefully eventually make it to Formula One, and I think it just shows how much they support their young drivers as well.
We just mentioned it a little bit there as well, like your transition from F3 to F1 in a couple of years. It's pretty remarkable. How has it been for you? I imagine a fairly whirlwind couple of years.
Obviously it's been pretty crazy. I feel like just try and stay in the moment and stick with it and keep going. This was my teammate from this year, us talking after an FP1, and I feel like he was a really good teammate because he was super quick and we were able to push each other all year, and that always helps in terms of getting the best results possible and ultimately finishing as high as you can in the championship for yourself and the team.
Did Liam have to say to you after that, after you got the seat, did he say anything to you? Or
obviously just congratulations, and he wants to see me do well because you know, we were close all year, so that makes him look better as well. This was my helmet in Austin, right there. Probably my favorite helmet of the year. First time I've ever done like a special helmet. What did you guys think? I thought it was pretty cool.
It's pretty special, wasn't it? Especially to mark that moment as well. How many have you had this year? How many helmets did you have in total?
Only 4. So yeah, I'm sure that number will go up next year. But yeah, not too many.
Have any thoughts on the design for next year, or?
Actually, I was just talking about it yesterday, so it's work in progress, but it's coming. This was my mom in Abu Dhabi. Obviously, the pressure was high, especially for her, as well as me. But yeah, it was nice to have her there as, you know, support and a familiar face to you know, someone to lean on if I needed it.
She's saying like before the weekend and then also afterwards, like I guess your tensions will have been high before that, so she's saying it's trying to calm you down and keep you composed.
Not too much. I think she just sort of let me stay on top of it with Ben, to be honest. I think she was more nervous than I was, to be honest. So yeah, she was just there to support and hopefully watch me have a great round.
How was it afterwards when she finally saw you after you sort of secured the seat?
It was nice. I think she was probably even more relieved than me as well. I just think it's so nice to have, you know, people that you love at the track when things go well and in the way that you want them to. I think this one could be Austria.
So that was an interesting story.
This was probably the craziest race of my 2022. It was a mixed track condition we started the race. No one knew which tire to go, so the top 8 went on wets just to, you know, take the safe option. Everyone else went on slicks, and wets were not the right decision at all. I think within the first 5 laps of the race, I was nearly last. I don't know, 16th to 18th, somewhere in there, and pitted for slicks and just had probably the best into my F2 career, to be honest. Stormed back through, finished P3, which ultimately got turned into P1 through some penalties, but that was insane.
Talk about that there, that remarkable fight back. You know, you were right at the back and you came all the way through in those conditions. How did that affect your confidence after that weekend? What were you feeling? Do you think, you know, moving forward it's more of the same?
I feel like at a certain, like when something goes wrong, and you can almost have that a bit of anger that can either go against you or for you. And I feel like it just really went for me that day because I just almost felt unstoppable once I got out on the slicks. And yeah, I don't know, it was all clicking, and that sort of, I feel like that bit of anger just made it, you know, that much of a better drive, to be honest.
I think one thing that I can see there just in the middle is the FP1 and the FW45 in Abu Dhabi. Obviously, you had half an hour between your FP1 session with the team and your crucial qualifying in F2. How was that time for you, and how did you manage for being able to juggle, you know, a pretty critical F1 session and then heading straight into an F2 session straight afterwards?
It was definitely difficult. Like, it was the first time I felt like relatively comfortable in the FW44, so that was nice. But to then, I feel like when you give a driver more grip, it's just easier. You give him more grip, more downforce, you know, better brakes. It's an easier transition, and then jumping back in the F2 and taking that all away is difficult. And we still had good qualifying. It wasn't bad. It wasn't our best, but I think we definitely could have been looking at a better result without the FP1. But hey, we did our best, and I think it still went pretty well. This one on the podium in Silverstone, first win. Against 2 very good drivers. Good podium.
What were your emotions when you were sort of stood up there? You know, like I said earlier, first American driver to win an F2 feature race. It's been a pretty unreal feeling for you.
Yeah, I feel like it's just one of those things, like it takes a bit of time to set in, doesn't it? I feel like, you know, you're just so caught up in the moment of, you know, making sure you deliver the result that you can't really think about what that result means, if you know what I mean. But yeah, obviously, I don't know, I feel like Silverstone's just the perfect track for me. It always goes smoothly, it always goes right. And I love driving there as well.
Would you say that was your highlight of the year, or would you suggest is the top moment?
I mean, Silverstone as a whole weekend was probably as good as it gets in terms of, I mean, we were quickest clearly the entire weekend, pretty much every lap. But then I look at Austria, and that drive back through the field it's hard to beat. So one of those two, it's got to be.
Hello and welcome to the 2023 Williams Racing launch event. I'm Will Buxton, your host, and I'm delighted to have you all joining our journey ahead of the 2023 season. Now, it's an exciting year for Williams Racing with a new car, new team principal in James Vowles, and a new driver in Logan Sargent to race alongside Alex Albon, who enters his sophomore year with the legendary squad. But is that the only difference for the 2023 season? I think it's only right to give you something fresh on this season launch day. So let's take a look. Gulf Oil joins other new partners on the Williams Racing journey from 2023, including Stevens Inc., Michelob Ultra, and PureStream. And this gorgeous matte finish on the car is also new for this season. It's definitely a different look, and I don't know about you, but I like it. This year, Gulf will also be a partner of Williams Esports and the Williams Racing Driver Academy, the very same one that Logan graduated from last year after his race-winning season in Formula 2. Let's take a listen now to our trio of Formula 3 competitors, Zach O'Sullivan, Franco Colapinto, and Ollie Gray, and three-time W Series champion and now Indy NXT rookie Jamie Chadwick, ahead of their 2023 campaigns.
So in 2023, I'll be racing in F3 again, this time with Prema, my second year in F3, so I'm looking to capitalise on all the experience I gained last year and hopefully have a good year.
So in 2023, my plans are to do FIA F3 with Carlin Racing, and yeah, it's going to be a great year, loads of travelling, which is going to be awesome. And then yeah, what I'm most looking forward to is racing faster cars, obviously, and racing at the highest level possible, and yeah, hopefully I can provide some good results for Williams and Carlin.
It means a massive amount to be in the Williams Driver Academy, and of course such a rich history in the sport, and the support they give me on and off the track is very, very helpful.
To be part of the academy, it's just amazing. It's a step closer to Formula 1. That is, of course, my goal since I was a kid. So many sacrifices behind my family, everyone. Now in Williams Academy, I'm really happy and really looking forward to continue my journey with them.
I'm joined by Jamie Chadwick, 3-time W Series champion and now an Indy NXT rookie. Hi.
Hi.
Jamie, a new frontier awaits. Indy NXT, or Indy Lights as it used to be known, the feeder series for IndyCar. That's a big step, a big change. How much are you looking forward to it?
I mean, it's been something that's kind of been on my radar for a while. But yeah, like you said, it's a big step up, and getting those opportunities, getting the chance to actually make that step and that transition hasn't been easy and hasn't been something that's, you know, been necessarily a natural step out of W Series. So now to finally have this opportunity, I'm just so excited. I can't wait to get going.
How difficult was that first test, though, that first taste of what an Indy NXT car is like?
It's pretty nerve-wracking from my side, to be honest. Yeah, tough start to the year. From my side, I think a little bit of a baptism of fire, I'm sure. I knew there was a lot riding on it, and it was amazing because it's very, very rare that you get an invitation to go and test with a team like Andretti. So I went over. I mean, I just wanted to do my best, you know, try and perform as much as I can, but whilst learning the car and yeah, feeling that step up from the first lap that I did, I can see why the drivers love it and enjoy driving those cars, because straight away I had a smile on my face, and from there on in it was, yeah, how can we make this happen?
How do you drive an Indy NXT car? How different is it to what you're used to in W Series?
Very different. That's, I guess, the big change for me is the driving style. We're changing tyres, we're now on the Firestone, so it is starting to change again, but the style is, as the Americans would say, pretty loose. You're really hanging it out there, and the races are sort of nearly an hour long. Street tracks, all sorts of tough environments, tough circuits that we go to, and you really hang it out. You're no tyre saving, anything like that. It's just pushing all the way. So it's quite different to what I've come from, but at the same time, a challenge I'm really looking forward to.
We're not going to be saying goodbye to you completely, though, are we? Are you still going to be around on F1 weekends?
Definitely. Obviously, staying with the Williams team in the driver academy, it's a big part of it for me. It has been for the last few years, and I think what people don't see is the amount behind the scenes that really does help me with everything that I'm doing, particularly the driver development. The ultimate goal is, whilst, you know, I'm over in the States, still got my eyes on Formula One, and having the opportunity to kind of stay involved with the team is going to be really important. You
are a 3-time W Series champion, but you go to Indy NXT next year, and I think you're going to be the only woman on the grid next year. Is that daunting in any way? Is it exciting for you?
It doesn't really change it for me. I think whilst W Series has been possibly the biggest turning point in my career, the biggest opportunity I've had, it's not the only racing I've done. I came from a very young age when I started in 12 years old, always racing against men, and having seen women succeed over in the States and have, you know, success on the IndyCar grid. It gives me that sort of, if you see it, you can be it, opportunity. So yeah, from my side, I'm excited by that.
But the Formula One dream remains?
Yeah, I want to race at the top of our sport. I want to be, you know, at the top level. Formula One is very much something I'd love to obviously race in. There's a long, long way to go before that's on the cards, a lot more I need to achieve. But ultimately, if I can have success now in these next few steps, then I like to believe, you know, it is possible to race in IndyCar and Formula One and World Endurance Championship and all these amazing races and events that happen.
Jamie, it all sounds amazing. Wishing you all the best for 2023.
Thank you.
Well, an amazing lineup for 2023, and definitely ones to watch. 2022 saw Logan's graduation from the driver academy to full-time F1 drive. No mean feat. We caught up with Logan pre-season to chat all things F1 and how he's been preparing for the biggest year of his career.
So, Logan, you managed to get home to Florida over Christmas. Was it a welcome break going home? Did you feel like you needed it?
I feel like every chance I get to go home is, you know, a really good opportunity for me to just, you know, take a step back from everything. Obviously the training continues, but it's a good chance to just, you know, use it to recharge the batteries.
What was the hardest part moving from the States?
I'd say leaving everything behind at such a young age. And I feel like it almost helped that I was so young, because I was a bit oblivious to what I was actually doing. It was hard at times, for sure, wanting to go home, wanting to be back with your friends, wanting to go, you know, out on the boat with everyone. In the end of the day, I had a good team around me to remind me that, you know, sacrifice now, you'll gain later.
And a bit more on that, I guess when you were a lot younger, when did you know that you wanted to become a racing driver full-time?
To be honest, I feel like it was a bit of a gradual progression. I feel like when I started as a kid, it was just literally go to the track, have some fun. It was me, my brother, my dad, and I wouldn't say it particularly got super serious till we moved to Europe for it. Obviously, you know, as a kid, you're saying, yeah, I'm going to go to Formula One, but there's obviously a lot in between those two things, and we just went down the path, and it's led us here.
Yeah, go!
Oh my.
This is when you get into the fetal position.
Well, I'm exhausted just watching that. He looks like a man ready to enter the arena, make no doubt about it. And Logan's teammate for this year, entering his second year with Williams Racing, is the highly regarded Mr. Alex Albon. There's a lot more to the affable and popular paddock figure than meets the eye. He'd have been hard-pressed to find anyone that wasn't delighted that he came back last year and pulled in some fantastic results. Because behind that big smile and the often seen peace sign, there's a man that has a core of steel and a relentless determination to succeed in what I think we all believe and agree is the greatest sport on earth. Let's take a look.
My first thought when I came out of a coma was, where did my teammates qualify? I wanted to be on that car more than anyone else. I knew we could have done a good job, and I weirdly felt like I let the team down and felt like I should have been there, and I wasn't. Pressure is part of what I do, and I don't actually know anything different. When you're 6 years old, your only ever dream has always been to be a Formula One driver. So when you have that dream go away, there's a sharp realization that things feel like they're falling apart. You turn that energy very quickly into hunger and motivation to get back into the sport that you love. So it was great to have a team like Williams believe in me. I want this more than I think anyone else. That comes with passion and that comes with fire. And so when you put a helmet on and you're in your moment, and you're in the zone, I believe that's the real me. I'm strong. I feel like people deal with things differently. I feel like, you know, you see me as a happy-go-lucky person, but I've earned my right to be here, and I feel like to get to where I am with what I've gone through, I'm much stronger than people can imagine. I'm a hard worker, I'm a fighter, and I'm here to stay.
Delighted to be joined by the boys. Alex, Logan, hello chaps. We are days away from the start of the season, pre-season testing. Alex, your second season with the team, how much are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, really good. I feel like it's obviously the first year you're a little bit more on edge. I think it's always normal. I'm sure it will be for Logan as well. But no, you know, it's always just about gelling with the team and a bit of uncertainty as to what is the team like and what's the car going to feel like and all that kind of thing. Second year now, I know the areas we need to work on, I know the areas we're strong on, and it's almost just more about building and learning from last year.
Logan, what's the emotion right now? On edge, as Alex said, or just pure excitement?
I feel like I've made him nervous now.
Not yet, to be honest. I feel like I've been so caught up in the preparation, getting ready for the season ahead, that I haven't really thought too much about what I'm actually doing. I'd say that'll probably more come Thursday of the race weekend when it's all about to go down, when qualifying starts. But
qualifying's on Saturday, just.
I'm used to it being Friday. But no, I know.
You've been a part of the team for a while, though, obviously, through the academy. Do you already feel a part of the Williams family?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I already have known everyone within the team for a year now. And it makes it a lot easier when you see familiar faces around the factory and at the track. Obviously, all of our goal is to improve, and that's what we're going to do.
And Alex, obviously, having Logan alongside you, he's been a part of the team for a year. He's taken practice sessions. How much are you looking forward to having him as a teammate?
Yeah, Logan's no stranger. I got to know him, obviously, during last year, and he's driven the car a few times now. He understands, what the team is like, what the car feels like. I don't think it's going to be, totally different next year. And really, it's more about us two trying to fight more up towards the midfield, working together and seeing what we can do and hopefully, score more points.
They always say the first driver you've got to beat in Formula One is your teammate. Will you see it very much as a mentoring role for Logan to help him, or is it every man for himself?
Well, I'm sure Logan's more than capable. The reason why he's in F1 is because of his talent. So, of course, we're going to want to beat each other. That's normal. But in terms of what it's like working in the team environment, we're going to have to be buddies.
And Logan, moving up from Formula 2, what have you learnt in your time in Formula 2 and in the junior categories that you think you can bring into this new environment in Formula 1 with so much more practice time over a Grand Prix weekend? And as Alex was saying, you know, being a part of a huge team that's all pushing towards that same goal.
I mean, I feel coming through the junior formulas, I mean, it's all about, you know, becoming the best driver you can be. One thing it can really benefit me is the years I've done, I've had my ups and downs, and mentally that's made me a lot tougher. And obviously going into my first season of F1, that's going to be a challenge. And hopefully I can bring that mental toughness and be able to use that throughout the season.
The season, 2023, sees the launch of the FW45. What do you know of it? And what have the team told you about it? What are the numbers saying? What are the expectations? I know you haven't run it yet and it's impossible to say how it's going to be, but what's the team thinking?
Well, I think, you know, of course, it's hard to say where we're going to be, but you'll see. It looks different. It looks faster, and I'm obviously an expert on that. So, so it looks good. It looks fast. We have to wait and see. I think it's not going to be easy, but you know, we were only missing a few tenths really to really be fighting for points every race last year, and if we can find them, then we can hopefully score some more points.
Huge calendar this year, guys, 23 races. Which one are you both looking forward to the most?
Obviously all three in America.
I mean, yeah, you've got three to choose from though.
I have to say. But honestly, the actual track I'm looking forward to driving the most is Suzuka. I feel like it's one I've always wanted to drive since I was a kid.
Proper
so
track.
I'm looking forward to getting to that one. But actual venues, definitely one of the three American races.
And you started karting in Miami, right? On the car park, which is pretty much where the racetrack is now.
Pretty much, pretty much.
They have the same tarmac back then as well.
right on my doorstep, so that should be a pretty cool experience. Obviously really easy for all my friends and family to come out, so that should be a special weekend.
And Alex, for you?
I have to be Vegas, just because I feel like that's the last or the newest track on the calendar. So yeah, I'm excited. I feel like it's going to be so different to the other races we've been to. I feel like Miami was kind of like a taster in terms of that party, you know, atmosphere within the F1 paddock, and I feel like Vegas is just going to take it to that next level.
You don't want to go to Vegas just for the track.
Yeah, I mean, we got a job to do, but
but you get to enjoy Vegas on the Sunday because we're racing on Saturday.
It's true. But I'm sure, knowing us, we got sim on Sunday or something.
Straight home.
Yeah.
Straight home. It's exciting times for Williams, new partners on board for the year. Also a lot of excitement around the team, given new team principal stepping into the role. James Vowles, obviously huge experience, multiple world championships at Mercedes. What's the vibe been like within the team with his arrival, and what do you think he can bring to the mix at Williams this year?
It seems like James really wants this role, and he's very motivated to push the team along and see where he can put it towards. He's obviously carrying a lot of experience from Mercedes, which for a team like us, I feel like we're going to, you know, take that with both hands and try and look at the areas where, you know, obviously a top team like they're, what are they doing differently to us, and how can we adapt and, you know, make quick progress.
It won't be long to wait, not long at all, until we'll be in Bahrain for that opening test. Guys, thank you so much. Can't wait to see you both on track.
Thank you.
Ladies and gents, that wraps our 2023 season launch. New partners, new driver, and a renewed and relentless ambition for the year ahead. Thanks again for joining the journey, and we'll see you on track.
Sign up for exclusive giveaways and experiences such as virtual meet and greets, Q&A sessions, and autographed items.